Oh, again, a kind of an unexpected semifinals. You know, we did expect our Terran player, but our Protoss is a little bit of a surprise. So hopefully he's not going to disappoint here. Hopefully we make it at least to the ace match.
Yeah, a little bit of a wild card here. So I'm very excited to see what he can get done. And, oh man, I'm getting flashbacks now, but I'll get into that a little bit later after we finish up the intros. We are now here on Pride of Altaris, LE. We're in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Protoss player coming out from the land of Korea, representing. I'm so happy to see this come back. Like, he is going to be representing Team NV and the anime waifus. We have Nightmare.
They got a new one.
Yep. How much you want to bet that Creator making it out was what resulted in them bringing back the waifus?
True. It's spawning in
weeb.
the top left-hand corner of Pride of Altaris LE. We have the South Korean Terran player currently leading this series 1-0, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. It is Cure.
Alright, and what I wanted to get into before I was distracted by Creator bringing back the anime waifus for Team NV was I want to see if Cure has changed his builds here, specifically on Pride of Altaris, because I remember back in the day when we were casting Cure a lot more consistently, every single time we get into Pride of Altaris, especially if it was TVP, but in other matchups as well, he would do nothing but 3 racks. And I did not understand why at all. It seemed like I never saw him win with a 3 racks on Pride of Altaris. But I'm convinced that he has but I was convinced that he did have success on the ladder with it. Because otherwise he wouldn't do it, right? But okay.
I'm getting deja vu. We've had this conversation before. It's it's the goddamn Cure. But yeah, I would like to think that over time he would have adapted his preferences on this map, especially after mixed or no success.
No televised success.
True.
Again, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt here, but I didn't see it work out for him. So.
We'll see what he's going to be able to whip out here in Pride of Altaris, especially because, you know, a lot of pressure is off his shoulders. He's already leading this series 1-0, so of course he has that going for him. Meanwhile, I also wanted to bring up the fact that, because in your absence, I've been casting with Chase and with Oreo, and they also have been keeping an eye on the waifu meme.
Yeah,
because they've been casting players like Nightmare and like Creator, and they've also noticed how the waifu changes. It's like shaking my head.
It's great. I remember that period of time, those dark days where Team NV was like, no, we are a professional and serious esports organization. We need to have an actual logo for our decal. Oh my god, great macro here from Cure. Being able to take out that Adept with barely any difficulty. But yeah, now it's great to see that now Maru has left. Now that Maru and Crank have left. Great to see that they are embracing. They're in a weeb again.
To be fair, they switched back to the weebs after Katowice. I think it was for Katowice that they had the proper logo, which makes sense. Oh my god, as we see a full surround there on the Reaper, you even see the Hellion being shot down. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have that second Rax. I doubt we're gonna see a third, but you know, again, Cure embracing his Raxes that he does enjoy.
I support this change here from Cure. Yeah, it's not a full out 3 racks. It was a
2-on-1.
Actually, a bit of a 2-on-1. Yeah.
Interesting. You don't see this too often in this matchup. You either see 1-1-1 or 3 racks. Like, this is kind of a little bit of a middle of the road build. Meanwhile, it is going to be scouted. Nightmare does end up tagging, but the Cyclone with his lock-on shuts down that Oracle.
Yeah, fantastic revelation here, or reveal here from Nightmare, but an even better snipe from Cure.
Yeah, and with that information, Nightmare, he's going to be going into his Blink. He did end up going for a Stargate opener, but after the initial Oracle, he just went straight back into that Twilight Council. Obviously, as we can see, the Stargate didn't really pay for itself. The Oracle didn't really deal any damage, and he's not continuing to invest in it, so did set himself behind a little bit, but at least he's pivoting into something a little bit more solid.
Yeah. Playing it out a little bit reactively, but of course Blink Stalkers in general, like you said, are just a really solid composition in PvT. They're very versatile and they can pack quite a bit of punch if you know how to utilize them, either defensively or offensively.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I guess there is like an added bonus here as well, like because the initial Oracle was scattered, I'm sure Cure thinks maybe there's a second Oracle, so he is forced to invest into these missile turrets. So I mean, you know, he's Nightmare's forcing some arguably wasted resources.
Arguably. I'm very worried for Nightmare here. I mean, he's exploding into gateways, but I think this transition is way too soon. Yeah. Looking at that army supply difference and looking at the fact that
this is his army.
Has finished up.
His army.
This is his army. I'm worried that Cure might just roll all over this. It is purely Stalkers right now. And not that many of them at that.
Yeah, the shield battery gets focused on immediately. Overcharge is no longer a thing. We have 4 Stalkers. Blink isn't even done. He needs a couple more seconds, puppy.
Blink wasn't even done. We didn't even have any sentries here. No robo units. No nothing.
Yeah.
Ah, man. Cure can just parade push from here, honestly.
Yeah.
He can just parade push and win.
Third base gets focused down. We do see Nightmare trying to focus down the Medivacs, and he will get one of them. So he's able to trade a little bit here, but as we see, mate, Stimmed Marines. Man with gun. They're pretty good.
Yeah. The Marauder packing the punch, and the Marines cleaning up here. Cure does have to dip out. He realizes that he's a little bit overstimmed and his medevac is very, very low on energy. But damage has been done. I mean, this push, not meant to kill his opponent, just meant to kill that third base. And honestly, mission accomplished. Nightmare may have thrown out a lot of gateways, but now he doesn't have the economy to produce from them.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, this push was meant to, like, trade. I'm sure Cure is very happy with the third kill. He's like, oh my god, you really had nothing, didn't you? And why did he have nothing? Again, Nightmare, it was very questionable for him to switch so quickly into the Twilight Council, just because if you're opening up Stargate, may as well like invest into a second Oracle. You know, we have stasis traps. Stasis traps can help a lot, right? Maybe you can even slow down the army in this tech. Because of that, he did end up setting himself behind, taking that much longer to get into any kind of army, period.
Yeah, obviously another Oracle, some static defense, you know, maybe even a sentry or two. Let's try to split up the Terran push, you know, split up the bio army, utilize your Stalkers and your shield battery overcharge, and you can really shut it down, but Nightmare just got way too greedy here. GG is called, and Cure takes that series 2-0. This is what worried me, like. After taking out Rogue in the quarterfinals, Nightmare, it didn't look like he was putting up much of a fight here, but in all fairness, he did play against Cure, who is kind of the master of TVP.
Yeah, GG, well played. I have to give a little bit of credit to Nightmare, and I have to assume that the reason why he was caught off guard like that was 2-on-1s are not common in this matchup. So
yeah, definitely.
Even though he scouted it, it may not have really registered in his mind what that meant, and that there would be a 2 medevac push, right? Just like in ZVT, you know, like like that's exactly how Cure is playing it out. Other than, of course, the Cyclone, which paid for itself. But yeah, like it's very unorthodox. So I'm sure Nightmare just wasn't used to it, wasn't used to playing against it, wasn't used to that kind of medevac timing either. So when it showed up, he was like, oh my god. I'm pretty sure it caught him by surprise, just because it's not something you play against too often in this matchup.
And you can see that a little bit, I suppose, as well, with his decision afterwards. He, again, like you were saying, 2-on-1 is something you see a lot more in TVZ, not necessarily in TVP, so I'm sure in Nightmare's mind, he was thinking, all right, he invested in his production here. I have a little bit of time now to invest in my own production. By the time he comes across the map, you know, we're on Pride of Altaris. very long map as well. By the time he comes across the map, I will have enough to get more static defenses, get more shield batteries, get more stalkers. It wasn't the case, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh my god. With that, he rocked up, and again, I was just shocked when it showed when the push showed up, and Nightmare literally had 6 supply. He had 6 armor supply. That was
versus 30.
He had 3 gateway units. 3.
He literally had 1/5 the supply of Cure.
Yep. Oof. And really strong timing there by Cure. But again, we expect to see something a little bit different here in the grand finals. That's of course where we have our best of 5.
Yep, the craziest Zerg player in Korea. Yeah, actually even more than Ragnarok and Rogue, I would say. Dark is probably the most insane Zerg player in Korea versus a Terran player who in Korea I think is known particularly for his builds, or for his variety of builds. Yeah, you brought it up earlier, but he is kind of the TVP sniper. Like I would bet on Cure to beat any Protoss player, but because he was forged in the flames of ESL Open Asia. But when it comes to the Zergs, he can have a little bit more trouble here. So he has to take this seriously. He has to come very prepared if he wants to take down a player of the caliber of Dark.